Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and I am thrilled to have you join me on this transformative journey. You see, every day we dive into a powerful conversation about self-discovery, healing, and empowerment. This podcast is brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery, where we believe that loving yourself is the first step to living a fulfilling life. You can expect insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories. Plus, we'll occasionally welcome special guests who will share their unique perspectives on self-love and personal growth. So get comfy, grab your favorite beverage, and let's embark on this journey together. Because it's time to embrace the beautiful person that you are. So let's elevate our lives one episode at a time. Now let's get started. All right, my beautiful people, welcome back to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and this is Wisdom Wednesday. As we continue our July series of preparing for transformation, today's episode is especially close to my heart because it features someone who's become an unexpected angel in my journey. That's patient advocate Laura Bowden. When I first spoke with Laura on the phone, something magical happened. I felt this immediate spiritual connection, this recognition of kindred souls who truly understand the path that I was walking. But here's the beautiful thing. By the time I spoke with Laura, I already knew in my heart that which surgeon was right for me. And that knowing had come at the altar on Sunday. That's how I actually found her message on Facebook. It was on another whole Facebook group. And I saw her name and she was talking about this doctor. And I was like, wait a minute. I already had 2 appointments with other doctors during that week. And something just pulled me towards that doctor. And just speaking with Laura that day just confirmed it all for me. And I knew that I had to have her a part of this series because it wouldn't be right for me to talk about my journey and going to have this explant journey and not the very person that actually confirmed it all for me. But before we bring Laura to the stage, I want to take a break, all right? It's your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks here on the Season of Self-Love podcast, and we'll be right back.
Washington Wellness Institute focuses on healing always. For me, if I look good, then I feel good. If I feel good, then I share the good. If I share the good, then I celebrate the good. If I celebrate the good, then I live the good. So I can be paid to be my greatest. But I have to learn the good to be the good.
So, what does it take to be the greatest? It's as simple as a free 15-minute consultation. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
Hey, it's your girl, the Goddess Nyomi Banks, and make sure you tune in every Thursday night where we talk about everything from love, sex, relationship, differences, and so much more. By bridging the gap between them all, and we even talk about spirituality. You need to stop by me and Dr. Mike as well as the BTG crew. We have some amazing guests that come through. You never know. Just make sure you tune in Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go to xlayup.com and tell them Naomi. All right. Well, welcome back, my beautiful people. Well, welcome, Laura.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. I am so excited for this series. And I'm just excited to have you on that you can share your story. But before we usually, go into that, we do a nice little guided meditation. So right now, my listeners, you know how we do it. If you all could just get into a nice comfortable position and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Hold it gently for a moment. Now slowly exhale, allowing your body to settle completely in this moment. Feel your feet connected to the earth. Your body supported. Now visualize a warm golden light beginning at your heart and expanding out, filling your entire being with clarity and with inner wisdom. Now as you continue to breathe slowly and deeply, invite your intuition to speak softly to you. That quiet voice that always knows what's right for your highest good. That gentle knowing that guides you toward truth and healing. I want you to breathe in your own guidance. And I want you to breathe out any doubt about your ability to know what's right for you. You have access to the profound wisdom within you. You always have. And when you are ready, gently bring your awareness back to our conversation and carry that sense of inner knowing. All right, my beautiful people. Thank you for sharing that moment with me. And if you're new here to the Season of Self-Love podcast, it's something we do every day, Monday through Friday, just to help ground us before we get into the topic at hand. All right, so today we're exploring one of the most crucial skills of any of us can develop, and that's learning to listen to and trust our inner voice, especially when it comes to a major health decision. And I can't think of anyone better to guide us through this conversation than Laura Bowden, who courageously journeyed with breast implant illness, has not only transformed her own life, but has become a beacon of hope and wisdom for countless of other women. Laura's story is a powerful testament to what happens when we choose to honor our body's signals over external expectations. When we trust our knowing, even when others dismiss our experience. Her journey emphasizes something that I'm learning deeply right now, and that the true healing requires not just medical intervention, but the compassionate care and unwavering trust in our own inner wisdom. You know, Laura, when we first spoke on the phone about a month ago, I felt that this immediate connection, that this sense that you truly understand what I was going through. And I want to again thank you for being here to share your wisdom. Now, for you, how did you get in? First of all, tell your story. How did you begin to even know that breast implant illness was even something that was going on with you?
You know, it's interesting because this was 33 years ago. It was before social media, and it in one sentence was my God given. It was. I had gotten my implants, 26 years old, nursed my babies, wanted the air put back in them, was told they were perfectly safe, trusted, as, we all do in the medical field. And I was very healthy, got them, and within 4 months started not feeling good. Chronic fatigue, dry eyes, inflammation, brain fog, everything that the women that I talk to have that connection of being like, okay, that's me, that's me, that's me. Every doctor you can imagine in 2 years, and here's another anxiety medication. How's your marriage? You do have kids, just everything, throwing everything at and making me think I was crazy. Mm-hmm. One day, I remember where I was standing, and I thought, what is different in my life? And I thought I got breast implants. So it wasn't a Facebook post. It wasn't an Instagram post that came out and said, hey, we're so fortunate for social media these days that women are throwing lifelines to other women. So I truly believe, and I say this all the time, that I was spared. I was spared back 33 years ago. And I thought, well, I'm going to go back to my plastic surgeon because he'll tell me if it's my implants. And I remember sitting there and I just said, I'm very sick. And I said, if it's my implants, please let me know. And he tapped me on the leg. Now. There's no scientific data to show that's why you're sick. But I'll take them out under a local if that makes you happy. And I was a week away from this man taking them out. And I was sitting at, and I don't know age of audience, I was sitting at my grandma's house watching Jenny Jones. She's like generic Oprah. And she was, back in the day, she was. And she's talking about being sick from my implants, and every symptom was mine. And underneath the TV scrolled a little support group, and I called that phone number that night. At 9:00 at night, a woman answered my phone. Her name was Vicky, and she was my angel. She saved my life. Laura's going to have a couple tears. I'm not going to lie. And she said, you are very sick, and it is from your implants. So that became my journey of finding a doctor that believed. I mean, can you imagine 33 years ago? Now at least we have amazing, brave doctors doing the right thing, like Dr. Sood. First do no harm. And I met 3 floors of sick women at Baylor University, just like me, when I thought I was the only one. And I was under his care for 2 weeks. I was part of his study. He was a neurologist. His name was Dr. Patton. He's actually featured in the Explant documentary. So anybody watching, it's very important. That's really validation. If anybody's watching and wants more information, Explant documentary, amazing. And he was doing a study. And while we were there, somebody broke into his office and put duct tape and crutches on his desk. And in time, they destroyed his career. Proving implants were making him sick.
Yeah.
So that right there speaks volumes. I had my implants removed, including the capsules, from a surgeon that he knew of. And within 24 hours, it was like somebody flipped the switch from it. The clarity in my brain, the brain fog we all talk about,
Yes.
the word retrieval, it was like somebody took it out of my brain. And I remember my neurologist walking in the next day said, "How do I feel so much better?" And he said, "You were one of the lucky ones. You were young, they were not ruptured, and you were very healthy." And it was like taking logs off the fire. So at that time, when I regained my health, for me, it happened that quickly. Everybody's journey is different. I promised every one of those women that I met at the hospital that I would come back home and I would be their voice. And that started my journey 33 years ago. My husband and I started a support group. We put a little ad in the newspaper. Back in, we didn't have social media. And women came from underground. And it proceeded into the Oprah show, finding out about our support group. They asked us to be in the audience. And from there, anybody that would listen, any podium, any Good Morning America, spoke in Washington. We did a lot of more boots to the ground back then.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have social media, so we can't stop this truth train. So it's literally been 33 years of speaking the truth and women speaking their truth. And that's how you're finding hope and validation and that you're not crazy.
First of all, thank you for sharing your story. And I remember that Oprah Winfrey because I'm originally from Chicago. So I grew up with Jenny Jones, and I've been to the Jenny Jones show and the Oprah Winfrey show. So I know exactly what you mean and what you're saying. I think the most amazing thing is that back then, you're right, there was no social media. So everything was truly groundwork and, just doing that. I remember back then, I remember looking at that episode, and I think at that time I was probably like maybe 20 years old. And I remember wanting implants myself because I was in the itty bitty titty committee is what I called it, and I wanted to, me having breasts will make me feel like a woman. That's what we think that getting breast implants says. And I remember, matter of fact, after that, after Oprah Winfrey show and you talking about it, and the Jenny Jones show I was talking about it, that's when they really started to take things just a little serious because remember they had banned and removed the silicone breast, out of it. So by the time I decided, fast forward 10 years later, they only was doing saline. And I had gotten the saline after my second baby, after my second child, is when I decided to have the saline. And I remember sitting in that doctor's office and I'm asking all of the questions to make sure that I was not going to become sick or, anything. And he was like, "Oh no, everything is good. The silicones are gone and, they're working on something to bring it back, but this is what we have and such and such and such." So now fast forward 10 years later, another 10 years, I replaced mine. And now I'm replacing I've been talked into getting the silicone. And because it looked, as they were saying, for my career, it looked more natural. It didn't, so I'm thinking, okay, is this good? Is everything, oh yeah, everything has to have testing. So I'm like, okay. Then all of a sudden, when I was pregnant with my last one, that is when I really became really sick and not understanding exactly what it was. And I love that you listened to your body. I didn't. I kept going and didn't, and what I do love about it, that it's all timing. Back then, when you realized what was going on and you were saying, that was just you building your momentum. So when Run Social Media came, this is where you are able to truly grow and blossom. And now, not only that, but also see every other woman that has that like-minded, and we can no longer be gaslighted by, the surgeon.
Yeah.
What I love about what you all are doing over there at Pryor and Dr. Sue is because Dr. Sue said, I would no longer put implants into women. And that speaks value.
First, do no harm.
Yeah.
First, do no harm. I mean, there's no denying it. When you see these women that are so very sick, and you see when with the proper removal, they get better. Now, everybody's journey is different. Saline implants, I know we had talked about it. Saline implants have a faulty valve. Some of our sickest women have saline implants. But there's hope, you know, and there is no doubt that this is very real. And we need to keep doing things like this, and we need to keep talking about it, you know, and let's think about that. The last thing we want to think that it's our breast implants.
Yeah.
By the time the women are on the phone with me, they've done better research than the FBI. They have exhausted everything. They have went to, you know, conventional, change their diet. They've tried working out and, you know, I'm going to make myself well. They went to holistic, right? Trying to make changes, and nothing helped. And all they're really doing is keeping their head above water. You know, I'm just going to keep my head above water and see if I can. And women are so strong and resilient, you know, and they're fighters, and they're moms, and they're, you know, their wives. And it's just the last thing until something pops up, or their God-given God. They just can no longer deny that there's a good chance that they're sick from the breast implants. So, you know, it really is that aha moment and coming to terms that I don't want to live the rest of my life like this. You know? So, you know, my mission is hopefully to try to help save one woman at a time. And that woman is going to go save somebody else. In a perfect world, would I like to see these banned? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But right now, we have to save the women that either are proactive and realize they need to do this before they get sick, or they're sick, and help them realize that they're not crazy, or to save this next generation. These next generation implants, these gummy bear implants, are probably the most toxic implants I've yet to see. If a woman calls me and she says she's only had them for a year or two, I will say, do you have gummy bear? And they say yes. They are taking these girls down so early. And that it's kind of a double-edged sword. I'm almost grateful, as silly as this sounds, so they don't suffer for decades. We just explanted a 78-year-old beautiful soul that had her implants for 42 years and has been sick half her life. They were both double ruptured. The bottom line is there's not one study that proves these implants are safe. There's not one study. There's hundreds of studies to show that. So we can go back and forth and we can fight with the doctors and, you know, them saying there's no scientific data. You know what? You and I, we're the science. They don't want to find the science. We are up against one of the most powerful financial powerful industries. So, you know, we're up against a giant.
Yeah.
But with our voices and doing things like this and spreading the word and having women, you know, join the front line.
Yeah.
This is not okay. I can't tell you the messages I get. I just got one. So what do I need to do? What do I need to do? How do I get my voice out there? We have a patient that got reimplanted. So kind of what you said, when you get reimplanted, it's like opening up Pandora's box. This actually get worse because your body sees it and says, oh, wait, you know, here it is. And there's another foreign invader. So this is actually heightened when the women do it, you know, an exchange. So that's important to know. So it really is just bringing awareness. You know, women deserve to know the truth. You know, these implants are toxic. You know, there's over 40 different chemicals sitting on our most vital organs, our lungs and our heart. What could possibly go wrong? You know, lead, formaldehyde, mercury. I mean, right there. The stupidest word that I use sometimes is, well, duh. What do we think was going to happen? You know, so, you know, I truly believe at some time in my life, these will be banned again. It happened once.
Yeah.
You know, I have to, you know, I'm going to try not to, I get all fired up when we talk about this. You know, if somebody, I'm going to say it. I'm just going to say it. If somebody cracks themselves from E. coli, from lettuce, the FDA, one person, the FDA recalls it. Yeah. In one support group right now, there's almost over 200,000 sick women, and there's 250 support groups. How many is it going to take before the FDA stands up and protects the women coming. So we should be outraged.
Yeah.
We should be angry, but we need to channel that because it becomes overwhelming. And then how do you help one woman at a time with that capacity? So how we do it is we plant seeds and
Yes.
we're doing, and we talk about it. And, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you, the insight that you have, and the women that you're going to reach that maybe today don't even know that they're sick, and you may right now you're going to be their lifeline, and that's how we're used. And we are. I truly believe I was spared as a vessel, and when you're spared as a vessel, you listen to what you're calling.
Yes.
So it's so humbling when the women feel the connection. And it's so humbling because I always feel so many times, well, why was I chosen? Why was I chosen? So I'll never take that for granted. And I will always use it as a platform for gratefulness and to try to help as many women as I can.
Again, let me say this. God knew who he was choosing. He chooses us for a reason to do the work. You know what I'm saying? I am a part of your assignment. All of the women we are a part of your assignment and your purpose. This is who you are. So I know sometimes we question, why us? Why not? Why not? Why not use that amazing voice and that heart that was given to you we're supposed to be of service of one another. So even when I talked to you for the first time, you said, oh yeah, we're going to do a podcast on this. I'm like, no, I'm not sharing this.
And
I was thinking, I'm like, I'm not going to share it like that. But I'm going to share this with you. A few weeks ago, I came home from vacation, thought I was getting ready to do some work, do some amazing things. And my body shut down on me entirely. But my body shut down on me entirely because I needed to be still. I needed to be still to listen to what my next move was supposed to be. In July, I had already a whole different series that's going on there. And it was like, no, you need to be talking about the very journey that you're going on now. You're talking about rebirth. You're talking about removing foreign objects out of your body so you can be more connected spiritually, so you can be whole. Why are you not talking about that? Didn't you say you wanted to be able to reach women in other different ways?
Yeah.
And then I was at my altar and I said, okay. I said, I'm going to write Laura a letter and I'm going to see if she would join me on this stage here. And if I can, put it out to, to the women out there, because our voices do need to be heard. All of us, the gift, even though we made the decision to put these foreign things that we can't be ashamed of that.
No.
And that's one thing that I want to do too is encourage the women to not be ashamed of the choices that they made, but to embrace them and use those as learning lessons for other people, for educating one another. Right now we've been taught that our bodies are not good enough. And we got to flip that. We have to flip that in every voice, no matter what color, what creed, what background that we come from. We need to stand up for one another. We need to be in service of one another. So again, I thank you for not only sharing your story, but also being the one that was right there in the front line when nobody listened, and just to still endure it for 33 years. That's amazing. You and your husband. That is amazing. That is amazing. It is. Yeah.
Thank you. I didn't know you were going to make me cry. I didn't know we were going to be telling my journey. I didn't know I was going to be such a crybaby. What I say, just to recap what you just said, I always tell the women, we need to forgive ourselves for what we did. That's when the healing starts. The minute I talk to these beautiful souls and they have so much guilt, the money, what am I putting my family through? And right away, just stop, breathe, and forgive yourself what you did not know, and do it today. And then take charge. Now what are you going to do? Right? You were not given informed consent. You were not given an informed choice. Had that happened, it's like, oh, I knew this was going to happen, but they weren't. So we just need to move on and put that aside and drive forward.
Yeah. So, Laura, what would you say that are the common barriers that prevent women from trusting themselves when it comes to their health? It's, what's getting in the way of their inner knowing?
I think the insecurities. What will they look like? Am I still going to be attractive? Will my husband still love me? I'm out in the dating field. Who's going to love me? I mean, there's so many things. And I think number one is probably insecurities, fear. I always say fear is a liar. It's the fear. It's the what ifs. What if I don't get better? Right? What if I've spent all this money? So what I usually say, because I'm on the phone with beautiful souls every day, and the what ifs, but I say, but what if? What if you do? You've exhausted everything. So it's like you need to trust. And I always say it's that little devil, right? You got the angel going, you do that. Mm-hmm. And then the devil saying, you don't want to do this. You're not going to get any better. And what are you going to look like? Nobody's going to love you. And you go back to the insecurity of why you got them. And that's where the gaslighting comes in. And that's where too many surgeons are able to say, oh, you're going to be deformed. You don't want to get right. Would you want to get rid of them? You know what I mean? And then they go back to that woman that they once were. I'm like, oh, maybe he's right. And the gaslighting is just like blows my mind. That's going on until the women finally say, no, something's not right. And by groups and women talking and seeing that, oh my gosh, it's me. I could have written that story. And that's when they get their power back. Yeah. And they're able to stand up and say, I am more than this. I am more than this. And let's really talk about this, right? We get them to feel sexual and we're so sick. Yeah. Like, what an oxymoron, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. We lose our sex drive. They hurt too bad. Don't touch them. Mm-hmm. I mean, libido's gone. They're painful all the time. So it's kind of like, well, I'm having these now for somebody else's pleasure when I no longer feel the connection, even to talk about heart to heart, hug somebody and feel their soul. And I'm a huge hugger. I believe in, and so many women have said, I can actually feel my baby's heart. Mm-hmm. First time I've held my husband and I can feel his heart. So there's so many pieces to this puzzle. So, I truly believe the insecurities, but if we could have a conversation with our younger self and say, right, that conversation would be so different. Yeah. We would say, I'm so sorry I didn't love you the way I should have. The day I had my implants removed, I apologized to my chest. I said, I am so sorry I did this to you. And what we say to ourselves and the mind, body, and soul, we can talk about that, right? The mind, body, and soul. The women have got to be in good headspaces. I almost know the women that are going to do well. And the women, for one, if they have support of their spouses, it's huge, right? Yes. And just being in a good headspace. And, there's a lot of onions that need to be peeled away for this to be really positive.
Yeah. When we talk about, there's one thing that I talk about with Dr. Will. Dr. Will is my resident therapist. I have him on every Monday. And so when I had mentioned to him that I was doing this series, he said, amazing, great, I'm on it. I'm with it. And one of the things that we talk about is making a choice to make that life-changing decision, from there. And about asking yourself these certain questions. What are your intentions behind doing this? Why am I doing this? And you have to answer those questions that you ask yourself. You have to be real and answer those questions. Is that aligned with your body and who you are and what you do in life? Or is it just for external validation?
Yeah. I mean, that's a really good point because, we can do what we do on our end as far as making sure it's a proper removal, give the women every chance to feel better physically, but mentally, where are they? Mentally, what work have they done on themselves? There's almost like a whole piece of the puzzle that needs to be addressed for the mental aspect. They know they want to feel better, but there's that whole, but I already didn't feel good about myself the way I looked. And that's the beauty of what Dr. Sue does also, is he cares about women, what they look like. So that there's a double bonus there also. So there needs to be inner healing that is just as important as the physical.
Yeah. Yeah. You are Right. And when I'm sitting here right now and I'm thinking like, how did you not think, just telling myself, why did you think that you were just going to get past July without really talking about that? Because the season of self-love, this is what we're talking about, the healing, the having that intimate relationship with yourself. And you're getting ready to go through a life-changing experience and you didn't think you was supposed to.
Yeah, when I think it to kind of like, again, it was the devil working on you. Well, like, you don't really want to expose yourself that way. I mean, we're talking about our breasts, right? You're coming out to the world and saying, "Yep, I have breast implants." And is some people feel that it's like so embarrassing and what are people going to think? But the fact that you're going to be able to touch so many women, somebody's going to know somebody that knows somebody. It just like branches. I mean, I'm telling you, put your seatbelt, girl. Put your seatbelt on, girl, because you are definitely going to be part of this amazing movement. There's no doubt in my mind.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I just have a few more questions.
Sure.
How can patients develop a better relationship with their healthcare providers? And what should we look for in a medical profession who truly listens and supports us?
Okay. Well, the one thing I have to say is women have an incredible gut and intuition. If there's a red flag, they can feel it, right? So I have patients that say, I knew the minute he started talking that this was not the right doctor for me. Going in with the information, I mean, there's enough out there. There's enough studies out there. If as far as an explant surgeon, are you talking about?
Just overall, just even overall. Yeah,
bringing up the conversation of breast implant. Usually it's like, oh, there's no science behind that. I don't think it's a thing. So at that point, either A, they're looking for validation from picking the right surgeon, which is going to be, obviously getting in the groups, listening to surgeons that do believe, if they still put breast implants in, don't even make it. How can you believe in this and still put them in? That's number one. Number one, you can't, there's just, other people may feel differently. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Another is we can get deeper into the scar capsule. Body forms a scar capsule. The scar capsule has to be removed. If a surgeon says it doesn't, not the right surgeon for you. So on the aspect of that, and then on the other end, what I always tell the women that when they get their implants out and they start feeling better, go back to the medical community. Go back because it's our job to help educate them too, right? Because they're never going to forget Laura or Nyomi. They're never going to forget who you are, right? So the next time another Nyomi walks in, they're going to be like, I remember this woman. Once they know, how do they ever unknow? They took an oath. How do they sleep at night, right? So what we need to do is help educate the medical community that they recognize this illness. And I get very frustrated when they say, well, there's no science. Do the work. Just like if you care enough about your patients, look up breast implant illness. It's a real thing. Yeah. And at least educate yourself. But I feel they have to just stay in their lane. It's very much of a brotherhood. And they just have to stay in their lane. So, I think the women, the best thing is do their homework, educate themselves. They can help educate the medical community and know when you go talk to a plastic surgeon, you'll know. Mm-hmm. You'll definitely know what is the right choice for you. Because there's no do-overs. You're doing this once.
Right. Yeah. I think that's what really sealed me with coming with you guys and Dr. Sue is when he made that declaration and when he said that moved me so much. And if I could tell you how all of this went down, it was just so aligned. It was so guided by God. It was just so there. And just to think of, the two of us right now on this podcast and we're talking about it. As we talking, I'm like, okay, this needs to be bigger. Just not this month, but bigger. And I want to talk to you after we get off of here. But it's like it's something bigger that needs to be, that voices need to be screaming loudly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's loudly. And I keep hearing October. That's all I'm going to say. I keep hearing October. I don't know if that's the beginning of when we should start something in October or something differently needs to happen in October. But I'm hearing October. And I'm not just saying that because it's my birthday month, but I'm saying this is what it should be. I think October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
It is. So where I'm going to go with this, and it's so funny you're saying this. Dr. Sue continues to see breast cancer survivors that are now BII. We probably get 2 or 3 a week that are now so sick with their breast implants, and they're now going and having aesthetic flat closure by Dr. Sue. So, and they're paying cash because so think about that. They are doing their homework. They are now sicker from their breast implants than they were from their cancer.
Yeah.
And I mean, those are our saddest cases. I mean, either way, it was a choice. It was, not an informed choice for cosmetic. But you have women that have already overcame cancer and now are being taken down by their breast implants. So it's funny you're saying October because it's, and now they're standing up. We have a woman, she's a nurse and she's a breast cancer survivor, and she is out of her mind. She's like, you gotta be kidding. Like, this is happening? Like, I didn't know this. Nobody told me this. And these women, she got her implants 4 years ago. This isn't like something way before anybody knew, So we're putting cancer-causing agents because now it's known that all scar capsules have the potential of causing cancer, all of them, not just textured. And we're putting them in a woman that's overcome cancer. Make that make sense. So October, there may be a real good reason that, we need to come together and cosmetic breast cancer survivors that we need to come. We're going to be so much stronger together. So maybe that hair on the back of my head is standing up, and that's always God saying, okay, there's something here. So we'll definitely talk off this podcast to see if we can make this, combine this movement.
Yeah. All right. So I want to just real quickly, because we're almost at our time. For me, getting prepared. Any woman that have already decided, okay, this I'm going to do that. I'm going to take the explant, surgery, everything. How can we prepare them for that? What is the preparation for them to get there?
Physically, emotionally, or
let's go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Physically, emotionally, yeah.
I think again, being in a good headspace. A lot of times I'll tell the women to pause the big groups, pause the support groups, because everything, if you're using Dr. Sue as your surgeon, stay in that space only because you're going to get so much, and that's where the devil's really going to feed on it, because it's going to be like, well, this happened to, this surgery is very surgeon specific. So it's good to stay in the lane of the surgeon you're going to and stay within that support group for support and guidance. Prepare yourself mentally, prepare yourself physically with, items that we'll talk about. I think that's probably more the physical and the mental. I always say lymphatic massages before. We got to open up the lymph system is a beautiful machine. God made us a beautiful machine, right? And it'll work beautifully if we're not poisoning it. So lymphatic massages, we need to be pooping. We need to be peeing. We need to work on our body to heal, and then possibly some detox down the road, but nothing like too crazy. Because women are like, oh, what can I do? Sometimes it's too much. Stay out of saunas. If you have breast implants. We don't want to heat those implants up. Exactly. And women don't. Well, women don't know that because right away I want to detox. I'm going to fix myself. I'm going to get better. That's great after once you heal, but stay out of the sauna. Definitely stay out of the sauna. Oh, wow. So, surround yourself with kindness. Yeah. Surround yourself with people that support you. Surround yourself with people that make you feel good. Turn off the negativity of the world. Yeah. Listen to music that makes your heart happy. Listen to beautiful souls like you. That gives you guidance and grounds us. I mean, the fact that what you did before, I can't tell you the peace that brought me to be able to. God has an amazing way of calming my soul when I talk about this. It's usually we had some hiccups, me, technically challenged, and just being able to do that when it's go time. I know if we just speak from the heart, women are going to hear our hearts. Yeah. And they're going to feel validated and supported. And I think that's all we can keep doing, and keep building this army, keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah. That's beautiful. It really is. When I think about us being in service to one another, from my background, I have mostly men that's surrounding me. And I've always wanted to know, how can I truly be of service to other women? And, where can they truly resonate with me from? And when I look at everything from me being in the adult industry, coming out and, creating these podcasts and doing so many different things, it's all aligned just right.
This was God's plan.
Yeah. All the whole way. And yeah. And I love it. I love that even through the podcast, even me. Now I've been on the original, the BII. I've been there for like 5 or 6 years on that platform. And this particular Sunday, I don't even know what I was at my altar looking for music, and you popped up. You was answering someone's question. You was answering someone's question on there underneath their blog, and I read your message about Dr. Sood or where you're at, and that caused me to go over there. Yeah. So it wasn't like I was looking for anything. I'm looking for music to be a part of my, of my session that morning. And that's when I sit there like, and then when I talked to you and we talked, and it was just so, oh my, it was just such a connection. I had knew then, even though I wanted to honor, my appointment with the other doctors, I knew I was like, no. And then I sat and talked to Dr. Sood, and I went looking him up, and I said, oh no, thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you. Because not only am I going back home to remove the very things that I put into my body, this is just a whole completion. And if the way that I feel right now, that I can possibly give that to someone else, sign me up. Yeah.
All of a sudden, and that's, like you said, God has set up this platform for you every step of the way, every single step of the way. That popping up, that was not just by accident. It was all timing. It was like, okay, it's time. Now we're going to use you. So now you are part of the vessel.
Yeah.
You are part of the vessel. And there at times it's like so overwhelming. Like, no matter how people believe or believe in a higher or not, how can we not know that there's something very spiritual that happens with finding out that you're sick and knowing that there's hope and finding out that there's others just like you. I mean, we can't. I spend more time shaking my head. I'm like, okay, I hear you. I mean, how many times do you have to be nudged in the head, right? And I think that's where so many women are like, I can't deny it anymore. It's time, And I'm like, okay, there'll be beautiful souls that for 2 years I'll just call and I'll just let them know I'm thinking of them. This is so not sales for me. I don't have to sell anybody anything. I really think as women we can feel each other's soul, and if you speak from your heart, that's it. I always say too, do the right thing and the money will come. Money means something. Just do the right thing. Just be a good human. Do the right thing, and that's how we have to live our life, and be able to listen and hear. Right, like you that day, you have the ability to hear it. That right there is a gift, and that's when you realize that you're being used for a calling.
Yes.
Like, okay, this just didn't just happen.
All right, so let me pause here for a moment because I know throughout the recording of this episode that you heard a lot of static or a lot of interjecting with the energy. I'm going to explain something to you all. Is when it was so hard to edit this, but I also knew that I needed to have this episode out. It was so much amazing energy that was going between myself and Laura that energetically with the computers, with the internet, with the whole system, it was so hard. So on this next when I unpause it, excuse me, and I know this is not professional, but we're being real here. When I go in to allow the other one, there might be a slight volume shift when it comes to listening to the rest of the show. But again, I thank you so much all for just sitting and listening thus far, and just continue to support us here at the Season of Self-Love. All right, now back to Laura.
Yeah. So I'm humbled and I'm honored that I was able to, here she goes again, make a difference in your life and lead you to one of the most fabulous surgeons I am blessed to stand next to. Um, and it's humbling, but I'm grateful. I'm very grateful.
Yeah, thank you. Truly, thank you. Because you paid attention to your body. Your awareness was amazing then, and it's amazing now. And you're being obedient. You're being obedient. And that's one of the most amazing things for us to surrender and be obedience and allow God to use as his will, because we are all vessels. It's just you had the courage to say, okay. And then I can't forget about your husband, because I know my husband is very supportive, and
Oh,
without that, yeah.
yeah. I have a little bit of a funny little story. He's actually upstairs, and I'll make it really quick. So we have a patient who found Dr. Sue from Australia. She's coming from Australia. And she's like, no, I just know Australia. I'm like, come on, right? And she's like, everything I've seen, the videos I've seen, kind of the same thing. And she was flying here from Australia, and we were kind of like, and literally 2 days ago, I told my husband, oh, honey, by the way, she's going to stay with us. She's actually upstairs as we speak. We're housing her, and my husband's like, okay, and yeah, I mean, who does that? I mean, he's the most beautiful. I would have died without him, and his support that he's had, and that he believed me. And I talk to so many women whose the husbands don't believe them, and that's where I always go. If there's anybody out there that the husband's like, this isn't a thing because for whatever reason doctors are saying it's not, watch the documentary. That is quite eye-opening. Watch it with your hubby. It will all make sense. It shows the history of how we've been talking about implants since the 90s. Not only is my neurologist, Dr. Panton, featured in it, which he's just he's the one that they destroyed his career. I humbly, the Oprah video, they did use the interview of the Oprah, which I didn't know. So you can imagine me watching it, use me any way that you need to.
Yeah.
So if anybody's really questioning what's going on with this whole implant industry, watch that for the husband. But yes, the support of your spouse this could have been a different story. He didn't want me to get him in the first place, but that's a whole nother story. So yeah, that's really important to have that kind of support. And I'm beyond grateful. We've been together for 44 years, and I can't imagine my life without him.
That's beautiful. You keep saying I'm sorry. You keep saying the documentary. Please tell everyone, where can they see the documentary?
So it's literally just called Explant. You can get it, I believe, on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
Possibly Netflix. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I do know Paramount Plus. You can even do like a trial. You would have to sign up for it, but where it's mind blowing. It's basically tells you the corruption, greed behind the industry. I'm just gonna say it. There's money is a very powerful motivator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Had this been a man's issue, do you think we'd still be talking about this? That's for a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
It's very easy to play on the women's insecurities and social media and TikToks and what we should look like and what we should feel like. So that's a whole nother, which I'm sure you touch on that as far as, with women and sexuality. And
yeah.
So if this would be we would not be having this conversation if it was a man.
We will not. Well, you know what, Laura, we have come to the end of our show. And I know I have so many more questions for you, so I will definitely be having you back on. Like I said, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk some more.
I am willing.
Yeah. But you know what, before I want to do this, I want to do a closing out meditation. This is what I'm just doing in the month of July. I think it's something that we truly need to do to just help continue to encourage us to stay grounded, to stay spiritually connected, if not anything, to our own body. All right. So if you could just take a moment right now, if you could just close your eyes and get nice and comfortable. Place your hands on your heart and take 3 deep breaths. Now feel your heart beating steadily, faithfully. That's keeping you alive, moment by moment. Now ask your body, what do you need me to know right now? Don't think about the answer. Just listen with your whole being. Maybe it's a gentle message about rest or movement or seeking support. Or maybe it's encouragement about a decision that you're facing. Whatever arises, receive it with gratitude. Your body is always speaking to you with love, always guiding you towards your highest good. And say silently to your body, thank you for your wisdom. I promise to listen. I promise to honor what you are telling me. Now take one more deep breath in. Now carry this commitment with you into your week. And when you are ready, gently open your eyes. All right, my beautiful people, again, thank you for just sharing that space with me at this time. And again, Laura, thank you so much. And I'm going to definitely have you back on. Are there any last words that you want to leave with our listeners?
If there's women out there, I mean, I don't know if you could put my contact. I am more than happy to talk any time of the day. I mean, 24/7. People kind of tease me about that, but it is because of a woman that answered my phone at 9 o'clock at night. So, just be strong. Know that you're not crazy, and there is hope.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. And to my listeners, again, I want to just thank you guys for just joining me on this journey, just allowing me to just be so real, raw, and uncut with you all. Again, continue loving on yourself. Continue loving on yourself. And I will see you all tomorrow. Have an amazing day. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovering and empowerment here at the Season of Self-Love podcast. Remember, embracing self-love is a continuous journey, and we're so glad to have you with us. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review. And don't forget to join our community on Facebook at Season of Self-Love. Connect with like-minded individuals who are also on their self-love journey. Now, if you have any questions or topics that you'd like for us to explore, we love to hear from you. Email us at seasonofselflove@gmail.com and let your voice be heard. So until next time, take a moment for yourself today and remember, you are worthy of love, joy, and all the beautiful things that life has to offer.